What's up, guys? Casey and George from Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. Got some new little deals going on over here, so we're trying to make sure all the audio is good. No background noise we get every once in a while, and luckily we got our in-house nerd George looking into this stuff for us. So what's up, man?
Hey, man, I resent that. All right, can I just be like a smart kid or something instead of a nerd? Cody Polich, what's going on? Kevin Lloyd Little, welcome in. Hey guys, open discussion week. It's a beautiful day outside here in Texas. I can't lie about that. I wish I was at a racetrack or at a golf course, one or the other, in that order, actually. Okay, so instead of having to work today, it's 70-something degrees out here in Texas. But how's the weather out there, Casey?
A little cold, man, a little cold. I had a whole lot of tree work to do. Luckily, I had my trailer just in the exact right spot because the tree didn't fall down, but it sure looked like one did, man, because there were a whole bunch of really big limbs that came out of that tree. We got Bracket Racer 1, Ed Torrance over here on the YouTube side. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us. But I'll tell you what, man, I bought this little Mahindra 28 horsepower tractor, diesel, whenever I bought this house. And I'll tell you what, that is the best thing that I have ever bought, because I use the crap out of that thing. Seems like most of the trees around this property are dead, so it's been a fiasco. Earlier in the summer, I taught my wife how to raise me up in the bucket of the tractor, probably 10 feet in the air, and then I cut off a whole bunch of like 30-foot-long limbs. It was some real redneck engineering over here, man, but we live to tell about it.
Right. So, yeah, man, that's pretty cool. You know, guys, let us know if you can hear us good. Like Casey said, trying something new here to kind of eliminate a little bit of background noise. Have to send a big time shout out over to Drag Champ, Mr. Austin Free. Your information on this little program, this little doodad here is pretty good, man. So shout out to you, man. Thanks for helping us out. If you guys don't know, Austin's a pretty good junior dragster driver out there. Hooking us up over here at the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel with a little bit of tidbits to make the show a little bit cleaner, a little bit less background noise and stuff like that. Thanks, Dave, for letting us know it sounds better. I see Kevin Grider in there. I see Mike Nelson. What's going on? Let's race. I wish. Shoot, man. My car's winterized, though. Yeah, Casey, man, what are we going to get into today as far as open discussion, guys? Don't forget, leave your comments if you got something you want to talk about.
Man, we don't really have a topic today, man. We just got kind of it's the off season. We do got SFG coming up. Luckily, we can watch that tomorrow, but that's kind of the last hurrah for the year until, Christmas will get over with. And then I know we got the Stars and Stripes coming up down south, so we'll be able to watch that, one of Galen Rollison's races. But no, man, what I've been doing is same thing I've pretty much been doing since, I started it in August, but then in September, the end of September, I really started working hard on this Firebird and finally got it moved under its own power. Had to send the struts back. Turns out the body on those was cracked. Steering arms were bent also. So I assume that was some bad return road type stuff. And I mean, at the end of the day, man, the car was built in 1985. I mean, wear and tear on race cars, hauling them places. Every once in a while you get some ignorant situation as far as a car leaves too hard, slams down. We all know how that goes. You see sparks fly every once in a while. But at the end of the day, cars, what's 1995, George? I mean, what's that, 30 years old, 20?
25 was,
I'm doing math all day.
25 gets us to 20, so 26 years old, roughly, yeah. About to be 27.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just how things go with old cars. But at this point, it's like I told you, man, I don't mind working on the cars. Actually, I kind of enjoy working on the cars because, my personal belief is that you need to work on your own stuff, because then whenever you have something happen at the track, you can fix it yourself, or at least you know what to worry about, what not to worry about, and things like that. What I mind is paying the bills. That's what I mind.
Hey, you know what? Hold on to that thought, man, because I think we ought to come back to that subject right after this Drag Champ minute. But I kind of want to talk about that a little bit with the Going Bracket Racing YouTube followers, see what everybody else is doing at the racetrack. But hang in there, guys. We're gonna view the Drag Champ minute and get right back to you.
What's up, guys? Gary Don here, back again with another Drag Champ Minute, bringing you the latest from PRI. That's right. Last weekend, we were in Indianapolis for the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show. And I'm just going to tell you, if you've never been, you got to go. We had a ton of fun. It's been a couple of years since we got together there. And it is the networking event of the season. So we get to hook up with all of our marketing partners and touch base with some of the companies that we've talked to and dealt with for years. So you get, face to face with these guys. You get to see what their newest products, the latest and greatest are. You get to make a relationship. So if you're ever looking for sponsorships, you're looking to find out who to talk to or learn more about a company, PRI is the place to be. Can't even remember all the different people we talked to, the friends and we saw from all across the country. Lots of long days, lots of miles and miles of walking back and forth. But some of the things stuck out. We did a few live feeds. So one of the fun ones was EDR Motorsports, Mr. Cool, who's partnered up with Drag Champ Pro, giving away a free AC unit. They're mini split systems. We learned a lot about them in a live feed. You can see that on our Facebook page. Zach Fulcher and his EDR team were there. I think they sold pretty much every unit they had. Very successful weekend for them. It was good getting to know Zach and his team and getting to spend a few minutes talking about their equipment and the benefits of running a mini split system. So go back and watch our live feed of that. It was a good video. But we also got to see the new Ultratech car from John Parks and Chromeworks. Car's phenomenal, probably the nicest dragster I've ever seen. Got to do a live feed with him at the Drag Race Solutions booth and just show everybody a little bit more about that car. So it was pretty fun doing that. And then Madison Ellison got on at the end of that interview and told us a little bit about all the cool stuff that they've got at DRS, and Drag Race Solutions got a lot of billet products and custom products for your race cars. So check those guys out as well. But it was fun getting to meet up with all of our friends, especially people like Brodex and Hughes Performance and APD, Mosier, Hot Shot Secret, Ultronics. I mean, everybody that's anybody's there. So if you're in the racing industry, which you are if you're watching Going Bracket Racing, get the PR on your agenda for next year. It's a great time and a lot of fun. And all the after hour stuff is fun as well. You get to hang out with some people you may or may not see very often throughout the year. And it's a lot of good food and drinks and laughter and fun. So that is PRI in a recap. Lots of fun, lots of walk. Glad it's over, ready for next year when it comes. But also, don't forget, we've got a couple big races coming up soon. SFG 350s this week down in Bradenton for the Christmas. I believe that is the Bracket Bash down there. And then New Year's, we've got Great American Bracket Racing putting on the Stars and Stripes New Year's Spectacular down in Belrose, Louisiana. So come down and get a little Cajun cooking, a little racing action on New Year's weekend down in Louisiana. And that is all for this week. We'll see you next week.
TSR Racing Products has everything you need to make your Power Glide Turbo 350, Turbo 400, and 727 transmissions the best they can be on the street or at the track. With exceptional products, customer service, and over 30 years of experience, TSR Racing Products is always available to help their customers with any of their transmission needs. In-house machining ensures you only receive the best products from TSR Racing. Visit TSR Racing Products at tsr-racing.com or give them a call at 800-394-5889.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. Got to send that shout out to TSR and Drag Champ. Drag Champ, you're great for stepping in with that Drag Champ minute for us. Head over there, guys. The link's in the bio. If you haven't checked out Drag Champ, I think Drag Champ Pro, the subscription actually closed last night at midnight, so hopefully you guys are able to take advantage of that and get yourself all squared away with the Drag Champ Pro. But definitely, Gary Don, thanks over there, and Austin Free, you guys are I owe you guys, so I'll pay up. We're all from Texas, I promise. I'll see you at the track pretty soon. But yeah, Casey, let's head back into that conversation that we were having before we left, or do you want to talk about that giveaway that we got going on? Those certificates brought to us.
We can talk about both of them, man. So right now, and I got to say, we got Big Daddy Alan Boykin over here, man, and he needs to hear this. I know I already told Champ down there about that. He's up in Ashland, Virginia right now doing some work. But no, man, we got 3 TSR $100 certificates. So basically, it's $100 towards anything on their website and their catalog, anything that they make. They make everything for Turbo 350s, Turbo 400s, 727s, obviously Power Glides, tons and tons and tons of stuff, man. Go to TSR Racing Products website and just have a look through there, man. And what we're going to end up doing, as George is over here taking selfies, it looks like, we're going to give those away, man. All you got to do is go to the Facebook page. There is a Monday Morning Racers is taking me off subject here. Said he's disappointed he didn't see us at PRI. We're disappointed we didn't get to see you, man. That's my fault to spend too much money on the race car this year. But we'll catch you next year. Anyway, there is a post pinned to the top of the Facebook page right now. And all you have to do is share that. You don't have to do anything else. Just click share. And it tells us who shared the post. Right. And we'll enter you into a raffle. As long as we can get that thing to 100, we'll give away all 3 of them, man. We're going to get them all given away next Tuesday. So you'll have them for Christmas time or a little bit afterwards. And it'll be a little bit of Merry Christmas from TSR Racing Products and Going Bracket Racing.
It's pretty cool. TSR, thanks a lot, guys. You know, TSR has been with us here at the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel for quite a while now. And always wants to give back to the viewers, give back to the racers. They're racers themselves. And it's pretty awesome that they step up to kind of do those type of things. You got something going on in the off season that you want to get taken care of transmission wise, definitely give TSR a shout, and they'll be able to help you out. They have live technicians at their 800 number as well. So if you need any help getting a hold of them, me and Casey can direct you where you need to go as well. So Casey, back to that conversation we were having about working on your own stuff, because I think that's it's very crucial, especially to the younger generation, kind of our age. Maybe not all. I speak for myself. I'm not the smartest when it comes to working on everything drag car. But man, all I got to do is hit the phone and call up old man George, and well, George Senior, I should say, because I just, my name's George too. Anyway, call my dad and get some information, and that information is always going to be useful to me. But eventually, like we always talk about, I want to be able to use my own brain to say, hey man, I'm having a fuel issue. Let's take a look at that regulator, make sure I don't have any trash in it. Hey, let's take off the float bowls. Let's make sure my carburetor ain't running in, stuff like that. Let's talk about that real quick, Casey.
Well, man, the thing that you learn as far as whenever you start racing by yourself is, number one, I think there's a lot of people that are either scared to work on their own stuff because all the stuff we work on is expensive. It just is what it is. That's the nature of the beast. But yeah, man, are you talking right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I was. Sorry about that. So, I messed him up, guys.
George is over here talking in my ear while he's asking me questions, guys. So anyway, the thing that I was saying was, basically you get to a point where you need to work on something because they're, at the end of the day, like I said, they're race cars. Stuff goes wrong with them. And the only way you're going to learn how to work on this stuff is doing it yourself. So you just, to make racing feasible for the average Joe, you need to work on your own stuff. We all can't afford to buy a $35,000 power motor all the time. Nothing against those guys, because I'd do that too if I could. It's a whole lot easier to do that, and you get some good horsepower. And there's a guy, Michael Spencer, at the track, all motor goes 418 in a dragster all day long. 420s with one of them 665 all aluminum power motors, one carburetor. So they're great. I think Kevin Brannon actually puts them together now, if I remember correctly.
Wow. Well, I'm not 100% sure there now. I know he runs par. You know what I mean? And that car's fast. And is that a purple car or a black car he's got? I can't remember that dragster.
The black dragster, the
That
one that he's had
yeah,
forever.
that thing's
Yeah,
fast.
that
It's
one's
fast. So
that's the one that I think that's the one he won the million in, or he might have
gotcha.
won it in his wife's car. But either way, same family. But no, man, the problem you always run into is eventually at the track, you're going to be in between rounds and you're going to have the option of either fixing something and hurry up and making it to the next round. Maybe the round for the money, you never know, or you sit there and you can't get your car fixed, miss the round, somebody else gets a buy run to the money round and you didn't even get to throw up your shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've always been a firm believer in you need to work on your own stuff.
Yeah, and you know as well as I do, and I'll be truthful to everybody in here, guys. I went over to the summit race, the teams event here at Ennis, Texas, or excuse me, at Extreme Raceway Park in Ferris, Texas, and noticed a stumble in my car going about, I'd say about 600 feet, and so I loaded my stuff up and went home. So let's be honest, I didn't know what I was looking for at that point. Probably a good thing that I did after we actually realized what was going on. I didn't want to lean that motor out. And next thing you know, I turn what is a couple $100 worth of fuel line and $6 the bottle of carburetor cleaner into hey, you gotta have a new motor because you grenaded something because it leaned out way too much. You know what I mean? So definitely glad I kind of loaded up. Tom Pinkerton here says, really never understood a person that spends thousands of dollars on putting race cars together that tows all over for races that have no idea how to work on their own cars. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't understand that myself. Hopefully, they're traveling around with somebody who does. But in most cases, all they really need to know is disconnect this, disconnect that, drop the tranny, drop the converter, and then put in a spare bullet. Because that's pretty much what they do. Those racers normally, if they're traveling far, they've got another motor sitting right there. They're just gonna, unfasten a couple of bolts and some hoses, and next thing you know, they got a whole nother motor sitting right there ready to go. So, what's your thoughts on that? Entire car, roll one down. So if I were that paid, I think I wouldn't mind doing that. But at the same time, would I be able to justify it to my wife? Number one. Number two, as long as the cash flow is good, I guess I'd be fine. You know what I mean? And I get that, Sean. Some guys can't even do that, Casey. Pull a motor out and put another motor in.
It's like, or you just do like what Champ's saying over here on the YouTube side. He says that's why I travel with Brandon or Green. He doesn't know how to do anything.
Doesn't know how to do it. So no,
but
it's
here,
definitely.
man, the thing is you don't learn to fix stuff without trying to fix stuff. And it's kind of like in my daily job, I say this all the time to a lot of the guys that I train and stuff like that is unfortunately, there are a lot of things in life and in a lot of, in racing and in work and in just life in general that you only learn how to solve a problem when the problem occurs. Because otherwise, why would you ever think about that? Why would you ever think about, for example, you might think about strut bodies being cracked, but why would you think about a strut body being cracked on a non-pro mod type car or non-top sportsman type car? The car like I have that is like a, mid to high 5-second chassis car. It's not going to crack the front struts. It's not going to wheelie like that. But guess what? The return road takes its toll a lot of times. There's potholes on return roads. There's heavy, there's some shutdowns aren't that great where you see the cars bouncing as they're going down. That stuff takes its toll.
Yeah, it's definitely a true statement. And definitely true on that return road. And you're not going to race all the time at the nicest facility in the world as a bracket racer. Most of the time, I will say though, right now we're seeing a lot of these tracks begin to step it up a whole lot more where the return road's nice. There's minimal bumps in the track and in the return and the shutdown area. Some cases you're having to drive on dirt, to get to your pit area or grass or whatever is the better way to put it. But you're not always going to be able to race on the nicest of surfaces. So you are going to put wear on those parts that, hey, I have no idea myself right now. The only reason I have at least a clue at how to do some of the work you've done is because you've explained it. As you've gone along, man, this is going on. I got to take this off. I got to take that off. Hey, man, how do I adjust this? Or how do I get this to come loose? I don't understand all that stuff. But listening in to shows like Go On Bracket Racing YouTube channel and some other things like that, we're able to learn some of those things, learning from other people's mistakes. What do you think?
Yeah, man. We got a lot of comments over here in the YouTube side of the chat. Racker Racer 9662 or 9622. I always say that wrong. He said he learns as he goes, man, and that's the exact same way I do stuff. You know, like I've watched my dad do stuff for years, and I know how to do quite a bit of stuff. Really, the way that I learned how to do a lot of stuff is I buy cars that I mean, realistically, if I wanted to, I could have made my Nova really, really nice and not spend all the money on this Firebird. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to kind of buy something that isn't necessarily junk, but buy something that isn't nice and then make it nice myself. Because number one, it's always good to know all that stuff, and number two, you can end up having a car that's, if you were to buy it, would be far more valuable or would cost far more than you actually have in it. So it works on two sides of things. But you only learn by doing, and it's like my wife was saying the other day, a lot of this stuff that I did to this Firebird, I would have never done that to the Nova because my Nova just got rewired by I think Maddox before I bought it. So it's perfect. Why would I do that? You know? So
no, you're making an excellent point, and it's definitely something to keep in mind as people are using a lot of money on Facebook and all these other drag race for sale sites and buying race cars off the internet. Well, most of these cars are sight unseen, and you only have so much time, unless you're like a guru at the sport at this point, to look at a car frontward to backward and follow Going Bracket Racing and look back in the past. We've actually done some videos on how to spot a good buy and things that you might want to be looking for. But it's just the knowing after you've torn down one, put one back together, the information that you had from doing it once, kind of it just goes to the next, you know. So it's definitely I definitely take my hat off to you, Casey, for putting together your own stuff, man. And you better keep your phone on you know, don't put me on silent when you race. That way, if I have a question, I can call you myself. But I got another question over here from Sean Pinkerton. As I've switched from TikTok and now gone live on the Instagram. So don't forget, guys, follow us on Facebook and YouTube. If you have any questions, this is open discussion. Sean Pinkerton says, I think many of us have been very fortunate to have mentors that have taught us how to step back and rationalize the problems and how to work to fix them. That's true, man.
Right.
That's true. Either way you look at it, like right now, I have one sale ad up there on Drag Race Results classified for my uncle and one for my dad. And I'm going to be honest with you, I just don't understand a lot of it, but a lot of it I really don't. Like, what is the ratio on that rocker, or what is the springs to that set of heads that you got there? I don't understand all of that lingo. Selling those parts, I'm just selling the parts on the internet for them. But people will ask me questions, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Hey, what's the answer to that? And now I have, now I have more knowledge behind that. So,
right.
You know, just those little things, like you're saying, there's a mentor right there, and fortunately, I have 40, 80 years worth of drag racing in Illinois right now, to where they've got that much accumulation of parts to where it's like, hey, man, if I just keep selling stuff for them, I'm going to be pretty smart when it comes to certain things. And everybody knows my uncle's a small block guru. So some of the questions I asked that guy is like, wow, that went way over the top of my head. But man, I wrote it down. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, man, is that here's the thing. Whenever you start to, you know, in your 20s, you don't really think this. But once you get into your 30s and stuff like that, you finally realize that there's no shame in not knowing something. What there's shame in is not trying to learn what that does mean if it's important to you. That's what there's shame in. So as long as you don't go up to people and you try to talk this, that, and the other with people who know what they're talking about, just go next to those guys and don't try to act like you know what you're doing. They'll know you don't know what you're doing, and just listen to them. And you can learn a lot by listening. There's Dylan Green. Dylan Green says all the time, he says he says the Warren Johnson thing. His grandpa always told him all the time that you got two ears and one mouth. There's a reason for that.
That makes a lot of sense, you know. And like Sean Pinkerton is saying right here, guys, we got a lot of friends at the racetrack. Not everybody is in a position to where they don't know how to race on something. You know, Dylan Champion, I'll just travel with this guy, you know. Well, that guy knows something. And if he knows it, you're able to pick his brain. That way you know it. And hopefully I'm not breaking news or, you know, Albert Einstein and anybody, because it's pretty easy to listen and learn. So keep that in mind, guys. It's definitely a heck of a subject to be on, Casey, but I wanted to go there just to make sure that, you know, everybody's on the same page there. Brad, Gephardt, I will teach you how to TikTok, man. You just gotta let me know. I'll teach you how to TikTok. No question about it.
The thing is, George, it's like at the end of the day, every single one of those old guys, you always hear about these 70-something-year-old guys, and they were like the whiz at this. Like there's a guy the other day out here that was a power glide transmission guru. Like everybody out here had his power glide transmissions. Well, he had a heart attack and he's not with us anymore. Well, now everybody's like, well, what are we going to do? Well, even that guy back in the day when he first started, he didn't know what he was doing and became one of the best there is. You have guys like Warren Johnson. You think Warren Johnson came out of the womb knowing everything there was to know about pro stock engines? Of course not. He taught himself that over the years. Everybody can learn how to do something. It's just a matter of swallowing your pride and asking and being like, how do I do this? And paying attention.
I'll tell you what, if you don't, you're either going to learn the easy way or the hard way. You're going to blow something up by fixing it yourself because you don't have anybody to turn to, or you'll tap that guy on the shoulder. I was at Extreme. I didn't know who it was. I think it was a Sandlin. And I walked up to him and I said, man, listen to this. Tell me what you think this is. He said, man, you either got a float stuck or there's some trash in your fuel line or something. And sure enough, he was right. But do you think that I don't know this guy. I know him now, you know, but I'm not scared to tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, man, can you have a listen at this? I have my GoPro running, so I was able to, you know, give him a rundown of my pass, and he broke it down for me right then and there. So, yeah, man, excellent subject. What you got next? Anybody in the chat, what you guys want to talk about? Because I know we can talk about actually setting up 10 when you're carrying 10 and see if that's actually possible to do.
Hey, man. We could go that route, and actually a good way of leading to that route is we got this race in Bradenton, and you know where that's the land of? The Williams brothers and Gage Birch. So that's the Williams brothers and Gage Birch going to sweep this weekend at SFG?
Yeah, let's stay there. Actually, I want to know from everybody in the chat too, and even in here on Instagram, who's going to take the cookie at the old Bradenton Christmas bash there.
I think Gage is going to get one, or he's going to. I say Gage is going to at least be in one final.
I'd actually say, and this is my opinion now, but I'm actually thinking that a person who is not well known is going to end up taking the hat.
That's the land of those motorcycles, man.
The land of the motorcycles. And there's some good racers out there in Florida. They get to do it all year round. Number one, so there's definitely some good crop out there in Florida. But I would have to say that I'm thinking maybe it's going to be a newbie to take it. I'm thinking at least one race is going to be won by a driver that nobody knows. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say so, man. I think that there probably are quite a few people that might save up towards the end of the year to go down there. Because it would be, you know, prime time for vacation to go down there. It's cold weather pretty much anywhere else. I mean, even at my house, it's relatively cold right now. And you could run down there, bring your wife with you, kind of have like a tropical vacation and still go racing. So there is a good chance that there might be a, you know, maybe not necessarily a no-name person, but because I don't really think a no-name person will be racing this time of year, honestly. But I think that there might be an unheard of type guy, like someone that's just not a big name, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
How many cars do you think will be there?
He sold it out. So, I mean, yeah, I think that thing's been sold out for the longest. I mean, probably, and this is my thought process on the Pro 400. I'd have to bet. But thought process that I have is there were that many cars last year. And that race, I mean, everybody was there. You know, you're in Florida. It's like you said, it's cold pretty much everywhere else. And everybody's there on the beach. You might have brought your wife with you or your significant other, and that's just how you're doing it, you know. So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's sold out, which is you know, it's pretty good.
Right. Brad's over here. Sure. Brad's over here saying the exact same thing we were kind of getting into is can we even talk about the talent that comes out of Bradenton, and why is that? Like, is it because they can race all year? Because they only take off it seems like Bradenton shuts down for Christmas, and that's it. And maybe in
Yeah.
the summertime when it's so hot, then they just go somewhere else.
Yeah. So let's hang on to that topic for a minute, man, and kind of understand what we're talking about here. Bradenton, Florida. And there's a lot of areas. We've had this conversation several times here on Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. What is the quote unquote kind of what's creating the better racers right now? A lot of people think Ohio. A lot of people think Bradenton. A lot of people think Carolinas. And I'm not going to leave out Texas. It's just so huge here. And there's a lot of good drag racers down here in Division 4, I believe is what we're in. So, and also it's my division now. So I'm going to rep my division. But
Got Lance Craft over here said my wife just heard that in the background, and I think she liked it. As far as I'm assuming that's to the go for Christmas time, basically. So,
right.
hey man, I'm glad to help you out. Just
Right.
just putting that bug out there.
Oh man, and I'll tell you what, a lot of people when they go there, I know a lot of us. I'm not the richest person in the world. I don't have a motorhome yet. I don't even have a camper. So, but a lot of people, what they're doing is they're going down there the week before. They're staying at an RV yard or something like that. They're parking, and they're having a good time first. If they just so happen to catch the race beforehand, I think there's actually a race that's put on right before the SFG Christmas Bash starts. So if that's the case, you've now been down there for an amount of time and have gotten to do some racing at the same time while the wife and the kids, maybe you let the wife go shopping one day while you're out testing and tuning or something, you know? So I hear a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, man, we got, I asked Brad if he'd say some names here. He said, of course, we knew Troy Gary and Gage. We knew all of them. Underwood, Jason Folk. He said Manny Sousa. And yeah, that dude's good too. And he's one of those guys that that kind of what we were just talking about earlier, where not a big name type guy, but still throws down. You know what I mean? It would not surprise me to see him deep. Yeah, Brad's saying I put 20 on Manny in a golf cart running pro. So Sean's agreeing with him, it looks like. But yeah, man, we got I haven't seen this guy in here before. AD 6566, late to the party. What's up? Not a whole lot, man. And we got Champ over here saying North Carolina has the best racers in the country, no question. I mean, I would like to see some sort of a somebody put together, some sort of a runoff. Like I know they already have the teams race, you know, at Galen's deal, but it would be cool to see like a states race.
Rep your state, like a rep your state bracket race.
Yeah, something like that, where you bring maybe like 5 guys or something. Because that would be, how would you pick the 5 guys though? That would be the hardest thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if I guess 5 would be enough considering how many states we have. But you got to think that's a lot of travel too. But top five at a certain event that you host throughout the year to qualify for it. I mean,
if you have a top 5 in
just go top 6. Go top 6. You know, that way it's not an odd number. Yeah. But you hold a race and it's called the qualifier for the cross-state battle or something. I don't know. But that would be pretty neat, though, to where you qualify 6 people out of each state. They come down to a central location, generally like St. Louis. I always throw St. Louis into the mix because it's in the middle of everything. Anybody can get to St. Louis. You know what I mean? So, but that'd be the way to do it, in my opinion.
You couldn't have a top 5 in Texas because the Penningtons would all take it up. There wouldn't be any spots left.
Hold on, man. George Atchison is in Texas for crying out loud. What am I, chopped liver over here? No, I'm just kidding. You're probably right. Them Pennington boys, they're always deep. Which if they're down there at the Christmas bash, you can't count them out if they're at the Christmas bash.
I'm sure they're down there. And the other day, where were they at? Where all 3 brothers got to the finals?
Right. Oh, shoot. What race was that? I don't remember what race that was. It was televised, though, I do believe. So
I can't remember, but it was all of them got to a final. I think all of them might have won the final too, or at least all but one maybe might have won the final. But those guys, man, you never want to pull up against any of those guys. I can tell you that.
Right. So I'll say this too. Corey Galitti's here too, and so is his father. So and Kendall Little and all and Kevin Oy, man, it's gonna be some competition coming down here out of Texas, but that would be fun to do. To say the least. That would be a pretty fun event as my phone rings, but that would be a pretty fun event.
You would almost need to have like a state battle, and then almost like a bracket finals type deal, like run off your state and then go meet somewhere and then have that run off of the states. That would be kind of cool, like showdown type deal.
Yeah.
But so basically the winner of each one. There you go. There's your winner.
There you have it.
So,
but yeah, nope. Guys, don't forget, we do have that TSR post pinned to the top of the Going Bracket Racing page if you're late to the party. If we get 100 shares, we're going to give out all 3 of those gift certificates. They're worth $100 a piece. Just share it. Make sure you're following the Going Bracket Racing Facebook page, and you'll be entered into it. So don't forget to share that post there pinned to the top. But no, man, I think it's going to be some good racing going on starting tomorrow. I think you said 8:30 in the morning. And
I think it's 10. I looked at the Thursday one. Wednesday is at 10. I got my days mixed up.
I got you there. But yeah, that's going to be some good racing, at least something to watch. I think there's another race going on towards the new year that Galen's putting on, right?
Yeah, the Stars and Stripes one. I think that's right after New Year's. I know a lot of people, man, are getting their 2022 schedules out now, being December, and it basically almost being 2022. And obviously Loose Rocker, they got their master schedule up. That's the place to go look. I think they show basically all NHRA stuff, and then anything pretty much over $5,000 is what they seem like they have over there. So Michael Beard's updated all of that, or updating it as he gets it anyway. So I know I've been starting to fill out kind of what's what on like a Google Calendar deal just for stuff around me for local races, because that's what I do, is more local racing, unless I end up winning some money, and then maybe I'll go do some what I'd really like to do is go run Kyle's Hundreds in Darlington. I would like to go to that sometime, or pretty much anything within the general vicinity. I mean, I'd really like to go run the Triple Threats in Virginia this year. Can't really afford to do that unless I win some money, basically. But I've always heard VGMP is a really nice place to go, and I always heard it was pretty cool people. But yeah, Brad's over here saying you're in the hotbed. Stop bragging. I'm not trying to brag, man. I need some more money so that way I can actually make use of it. I can tell you that. But that's why I moved here, Brad. You should consider it.
Right now, don't listen to him, Brad. Just come to Texas, man. Texas is where the heart is anyway. So come on, BG. I got you on some narrow face when you get here. For those of you who don't know what narrow face is, just ask Brad Gephardt. That's chicken wings, and I'm pretty good at making those things. So come on, Brad. Hey, I win already. He's gonna say I'm going to Georgia's because I know what BG likes. You lost.
Hey,
what?
I like Georgia's wings too.
Right.
Too far away.
I know, man. Come on. But no, man. Not bad so far, guys. What else you guys want to talk about? Me and Casey can keep coming with our topics, but I'd like to know what you guys got. And coming up close on Christmas, so I know a lot of people are probably doing last minute Christmas shopping. I know I need to do some, and nothing wrong with it though, right?
That's right, man. We got Troy Abercrombie just got in here and asked when the Firebirds to the front shirts are dropping. So we need to get something planned on that, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's that Firebird's coming along real fast, man. Posted some videos on TikTok and Instagram there, and a lot of people liking how that thing sounds. It actually sounds pretty mean. So how fast we thinking that thing's gonna run? How fast we thinking it's gonna move?
I don't know, man. I hope it goes 60s, but Dad seems to think it might go in the 50s. It's hard to say because that converter was pretty loose to begin with. And honestly, if I would have kind of thought it through more rather than kind of reacting to what was going on, because long story short, when I bought the heads for that motor, I was intending on just rebuilding that motor and putting it back in my Nova. And then I got this car, and then I decided I'll put that motor in this car, and then I'll put a small block in the Nova, and then it'll actually work a lot better, and I can foot brake it if I want to and stuff like that. And anyway, man, I put a rear Morrison 7.4 swap cam in there. It's got ProMax heads on, which are basically a off-brand copy of Dart Pro 1s, pretty much is what they are. So I put those heads on it, and but the converter was built for that 468 to begin with. Whenever it had iron heads on it and only a 695 lift cam, so it was pretty loose to begin with. I'm hoping that it doesn't just blow through the converter, because if I have to get a new converter for it, then I'm going to be wishing I just built a 496 and was done with it. So, because if it had 496 in it, it'd probably go high 40s, I'm sure. But
Right.
what are you going to do? I guess that'll be a project for potentially next winter, because you really don't have to do a whole lot. You just change the crank at this point and change the crank, get a new converter, and I'm good to go. I got the right length rods and everything. If I want to have 496, no big deal.
Yeah, we've had a few of those 496s. They turn into pretty good bracket motors, if you do everything right. So
They last,
can't stay
man.
wrong.
That's
They do.
the thing. Yeah, the thing that's good about 468s and 496s and 509s is you can pretty much run them to death, and they like to last. Once you get starting going on 540s and stuff like that, 540s last pretty good. 555s are pretty good, but then once you get above that, it seems like it's a little more wear and tear. I mean, I don't know if it's because you're making more power, more torque. Probably torque kills stuff, I would say. Rod ratio might kill some stuff. But, is what it is. 468, nobody really ever has anything bad to say about 468s and 496s. They last forever. Just is what it is, and that's the name of the game in bracket racing. Just keep showing up, right?
Right. I've been missing a lot of comments in the chat. I was actually stuck in one thing. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me see here. Seeing that. You might be watching Facebook too, are you, Casey?
Yeah, I got a little bit of both going on here,
Cool.
but
Cool. Make sure I didn't miss anything.
yeah. Champ wants now everybody's talking about what shirts we need to have come out. He wants to know when the small block Chevrolet to the front shirt's coming out, because he wants big blocks.
we might as well call those mouse motors. I got me a mouse motor in my car too, Champ. 368 cubic inches, and it only runs like 590 something, but that's doing pretty good for as small as it is and as heavy as my truck is. So
I just want my stuff at this point to live. That's all I care about. I just want to be able to. The way I see it is, if I wear it out throughout this year, then I got plenty of money to throw back into a new motor.
Yeah, that's true. I'm looking at a comment from Brad Gephardt. He's saying, I think a converter is the most important thing on the car. I think that's pretty true. We talked to Champ. Shout out Champ's Performance. I don't think I've mentioned that this whole time yet, but Champ's Performance over there, I'll tell you what, he can get things faster than anybody else I know right now. I'm still waiting on a package from some big company in yellow and black that has been back ordered for it's almost a month and a half now. So shout out to Champs. I should have went there first myself. I just already pulled the trigger, and that's my fault. Won't happen again, Champ, because the moment I ordered my spark plugs from you, you had them on my doorstep in 2 days worth of time. So, and at the same time, I couldn't find them anywhere else. So shout out, Champ. But Champ told us on the stream, Brad, if you hadn't seen it, it's back a little further in the Going Bracket Racing Archives, but he told us, man, he thinks converter and carburetor. Did he say transmission? I don't think he said training. I think he said converter and
Champ does he sells for FTI.
No,
so
what did he say was the three things that he thinks is the most important? Tires?
Carburetor, tire, and converter.
And converter. So it's spot on, Brad. The converter is definitely up there. It's probably one of the most important things inside a race car. So there you have it.
Definitely. Troy must have built him a pretty big motor too. Yeah. 496 build, he said he just put a 755, 725 lift cam in his. So he's got something similar to what I got going on over here, man. So old Troy's car is going to run pretty good next year too. I'm pretty sure that Camaro, I'm pretty sure, is full body type car like the Nova is. So that'll be a really cool car. It'll probably be, as Champ says, tote the wheels. It'd be toting the wheels.
Put them in there, I love me a little wheels up action. Truck doesn't do any wheels up, but I'm not going to make it do any either. So, oh well, But yeah, no, that's pretty dope. Good question there from Brad Gephardt. And no, man, what else you got? I mean, I don't have much else going on over here on my end.
Man, all I've been doing is, for whatever reason, I went down a rabbit hole last night and I started looking at ramp trucks. I want a ramp truck so I can put the Nova on the ramp truck and then put the Firebird in the trailer and still have my golf cart. I just don't know if a ramp truck's going to be able to, first of all, get more than 5 miles a gallon. Second of all, I don't know if it's going to be able to pull my 32-foot trailer with the golf cart and the Firebird in it, and have the Nova on the back of it.
Yeah, I ain't doing no ramp truck. But I have been looking at mopeds. So if anybody has a good idea, I don't want to spend $1,000. I don't want to spend $2,000 either. If that's the case, I'll just keep pedaling my bike. That cost me $10 on Facebook Marketplace. So, but I'm looking at a moped because that's pretty much the only thing I can fit on front of my open trailer there. But any ideas on what kind of moped I should buy? I've been looking at Yamaha a little bit. I see one that I might pull the trigger on, but not sure yet. Cavanoid is freshening up his 572 cylinder motor, and we already know that bad boy was running 60s. I'm surprised it didn't break down into the 50s. Maybe it did. I just can't remember. You'll have to answer
It
that
did
question
towards
for
the
me.
end of the year, right before
Broke down in the
it
50s.
popped, I think it did.
Right.
But
right. So
yeah, Troy's over here. He says he wants a ramp truck too. So I'm not the
everybody
only
wants a
one.
ramp truck.
Man, ramp trucks are cool, man. I found one the other day. Troy, you need to look at this one. There's one on Racing Junk right now. I don't know if it has a 396 or a 454. I thought it was 396. It has short valve covers. But there's one on Racing Junk right now for $8,500, and I think it's kind of over by you. I'm pretty sure if it's the one I'm thinking of. So check that out whenever you get some time, man. Man, it would certainly be a lot easier just to get around. You know what I mean? Like if I just went somewhere with the Nova, I mean, you just pull right in, unload it, go racing, pull it back up, and go. You don't have to back out. You don't have to have somebody watch behind you. You know. Now you also can't carry as much stuff.
Interesting concept for sure, guys.
Dude, that thing was 4-door rated. I mean, it was sweet.
No, that's an interesting concept. I don't think I'm gonna have a ramp truck. Now, don't put it past me if it was just like I have to get to the racetrack and I have no other means. I'll make it happen in a ramp truck. But
we got
hey, number one. Go ahead.
We do have a question over here. Something we've kind of talked about several times is Champ's asking, do we think that these guaranteed million races make a comeback anytime soon? And I'd say Brett's already said no, not in the foreseeable future, and he's running one of them. So I'd say that. I bet you next year we'll have the SFG 525, and I would bet that obviously we'll have the OG million like we always do. But I would be willing to bet the 525 is about it for that type of stuff next year.
Well, it definitely ain't coming back next year, but I'm not going to count it out completely. Those races are very popular at this point. I do think that we had too many of them, and it kind of oversaturated the market to where you're putting a little bit more strain to get cars there. You got to get more sponsors there and all that kind of stuff. And so I do see the $1 million bracket races kind of going down. Definitely going to see the 525. That's a no-brainer. I don't even know. I think we may see the 525 probably every year for the next 5 years, to be honest. They've just had good luck with that race. So
I kind of think that, kind of going off what you were saying, they got so many of them that were so big that it took the novelty off of them. Right. You know, like it wasn't as big of a deal as it should have been, it seemed.
You know, that could be very true. Heck, you had two of them this year to pick from, and these are guaranteed millions we're talking about. But alongside of that, you had a lot of 100 grand races. I got a question here from Lance Kraft. It says, how about a race for guys who have never won more than 5K or something like that? Give a weekend warrior a chance to win a big race. To be the best, you have to race the best. Guys will be like, that's a cop-out. Don't get me wrong. It's fun racing the big name guys. Just would be fun to give the little guys a shot. I kind of see your point a little bit, Lance. But to hold these big races, you got to have a lot of other big racers coming to them. What do those big racers bring? And this is just my opinion. They bring along sponsorship. They have people who watch these particular people. Troy and Gary coming to the race brings FTI to the race. Sorry. I mean, that is why we have the FTI on site there, and someone there who can fix your tranny right there at the track, and you're not going to lose pace. So I do like the thought of the weekend warriors getting more of a shot, but at the same time, I'm a weekend warrior myself. If I have the money to enter that race, I'm gonna feel like the Incredible Hulk. I'm telling you, you piss off the doctor and he turns into the monster that you can't just stop him that easily.
I
So
think
don't sell yourself short, man. You know what I mean? Don't sell yourself short.
well, the thing is, I think that he kind of answered his own question where to give the weekend warrior a chance, that's what those races are for, the little races, you know what I mean? And then you win one of those and you go to the big race, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to win, is the big time race. And yeah, you want the money and everything, but there's a lot of prestige that comes with that isn't necessarily that big check. It's the recognition of being on the drag champ top 10 list and beating Champ McCory at 4 cars or something like that. One of the best that's ever done it. Beating Troy and Gary, beating, Underwood and Scotty and Edmund and all those guys, that's where the prestige comes from. It doesn't really come from that big check like everybody thinks it does. Now, the big check is awesome, and that's what we all want too, but they'll never take it away from you that you beat all those guys, and those guys will all remember you. And that's what the big deal is if you're really going to race, for the foreseeable future type thing. That's what you want.
Yeah, and I think it would just be so hard to count out the kind of the pros of the sport, if you want to call it that. How about a GBR power ranking this year for local points racers? That's an interesting concept. And Casey and I are both racers at the same time, so I wonder what it would take, Sean, to keep up with something like that. Maybe just using the community section of Going Bracket Racing, and we can make a stream per month about it and just talk about what's going on at the local tracks, because it is the year of the local track this year. Local tracks are going to have quite a bit of participation because there's not going to be a lot of travel going on this year if things keep up at the pace that they're going right now. So I think a lot of those big races, those 50Ks and things like that, they're gonna do fine. They're gonna have their showing. But I do feel like the local racers, the local tracks are going to have a lot of 5Ks, maybe some 7,500s and some 10Ks.
Yeah.
And we might want to do some power ranking there.
Yeah. I know Galat had a blackjack 21K to win race before the Flame last year, and it was a huge deal. And I know they're doing a 20 also, and these are just on their own now. Like they're not going to be, they're not just trying to set up so it's a pre-race for the Flame. Like they're their own entity now. And then, of course, like I said, you got the triple threats in Virginia. It's not very far away from here. There's a brand new track getting built up by the Virginia border right now with 1,400 foot of shutdown, and it might all be concrete from start to finish. So, I mean, there's clearly going to be a lot of local racing type stuff going on next year if they're actually building new tracks. Even like those guys that do that kind of investment are typically in the know about what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's going to be pretty neat. And how far is that from you? Because that's another track to add to the list of I'm going tos for you.
I think it's what did it ended up being, maybe like an hour and 45 minutes, something like that. Pretty much dead north. It's Roanoke Rapids, maybe something like that. I can't remember what it said, but yeah, man, it's clearly getting built for fast cars too, because it's going to be 8th mile and then it's going to be a quarter mile shutdown, basically, a little over.
Yep. So here's a good one too. This is probably the last good topic I think I can keep my eyes on here, and it's coming from Brad Gephardt. Thinking pretty wise here, Brad. Dads, take time with your kids. Don't kick them out of the way just because you can get it done faster. Keep them off the dang PlayStation and let them be hands-on. Drag racing is a family sport, especially bracket racers. This is a big old family. You can take your kids out to the racetrack. They're going to have fun interacting with other kids and things of that nature. So, Brad, you hit that spot on, man. I'm trying to do that with my 5-year-old already, even if it's just letting him sit in there and, hey, push this button when I tell you to. The way his face lights up it reminds me of how mine's lit up when I was little, if I were to be looking at myself back in the day. But spot on, man. We definitely need to do what we can to keep the sport growing, and those kids are the future. So what we got in closing over here today, Casey, man, this has been a pretty good show. As always, open discussion. We thank everybody for joining in, chiming in. If you missed us, if you're over on Instagram or TikTok, thanks for coming on over to the Facebook and the YouTube. Hit that follow button while you're here. or that subscribe button while you're over there on the YouTube channel. What do you got for the end there, Casey?
I just wanted to remind everybody, like I said, all you have to do is go to the Facebook page and click share on that pinned post to the top for the TSR giveaway. You're automatically entered. We're going to draw that next Tuesday, more than likely. The other thing I wanted to say is, obviously, we won't be here next week because we'll both be going to our families for Christmas, stuff like that, hanging out at Dad's shop, which is a whole lot nicer than mine, so that'd be cool. But no, man, the last thing I wanted to say was, as soon as we get done with Christmas, we got a huge show coming up. We got Big Jed and JJ Pennington going to be on the show, the next Going Bracket Racing live stream. I believe that's going to be on the 28th, that Tuesday after Christmas. So y'all better not miss that one, because the one question that I'm going to ask Big Jed, I already told him so he can prepare for this. I said, I want you to think of a good racing story. And Big Jed's stories are always interesting. So he's known about this for about a month, so there ain't no telling what's going to come out of his mouth.
Ain't no telling. But guys, it's a jam-packed end of the year. End of the year starts off with a excellent set of vocal cords for the bracket racing community. Big Jed and JJ, man, those right now is kind of hard to contend. And I say this all the time, but I always throw around the word GOAT. And these guys are putting their names into the hat of some of the greatest to announce a bracket race. So I tell you what, my mind gets boggled every time I hear JJ, even since he was little. This dude's, man, he's 5, takes 6, and I'm like, dang, bro, to get behind one. And I'm like, dog, man, how'd you do that quick, So the math skills it takes to do it. Anyway, tune in. Don't miss it.
That's right, man. And as far as the greatest of all time for announcers for bracket racing go, you got Brett Kepner and you got Jared Pennington. Those are the best of all time. Jake Hodge will tell you that. Ryan Gleghorn will tell you that. And JJ will tell you that. So,
yeah, man.
You think there's anybody better than that? You're out of your mind.
Out of your mind. I definitely ain't gonna. I just said put your name in the hat. Donald Shepard, man. You have a good day too, man, and Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. As always, we will see you guys not this next Tuesday, Tuesday after that. Have a good one, guys.